Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to August Country. This series where throughout the month of August we are listening to different country albums, and today, of course, we are going to be checking out the 2003 record Magnolia Electric Co. by Songs Ohia. Ohia, I'm not too sure. Looking it up, there were multiple options, but either way, today we are checking out, like I said, Magnolia Electric Co. Songs Ohia. It is 45 minutes long, not an hour and 43. This is just the bonus tracks here. We're going to obviously not listen to, but we are going to listen to the core album, beginning with Farewell Transmission. I'm not too sure what to expect from this record. I know a few things. I know I've seen this album cover a million times over. It seems like it's a fairly popular album cover. I think it's very unique. I love the look of it. I love the style it gives off. I know that this is a bit of a rock country album. Kind of fuses the two quite effortlessly. And I know that the musician behind this one, Jason Molina, had quite a sizable discography before his passing, unfortunately, in the early 2010s. So, of course, rest in peace to Mr. Jason Molina. That all being said, I don't know what to expect. I'm expecting this to be somewhat Americana. I'm expecting this to be kind of a darker sounding album, given the sort of, visual component of the album cover. And I don't know what else to expect other than it to be just a solid record all around. It is one of the highest rated rock country albums I've seen online. It receives considerable amount of acclaim since, and it has a lot of fans, many of which have suggested this one throughout the month of August Country. Without further ado, let's jump into the first track here, the 7-minute track. I think the first and last track here, Hold On Magnolia. They're both past the 7-minute mark. They're pretty large, mammoth-like tracks. Let's kick it off. Farewell Transmission is the name of this one. Those guitars are nice. Kind of a Hawaiian-esque to it. That strum out. Really great production despite being an indie record. Really vibrant instrumentation. Feels like it's slowly building. I like the wavering in his voice. That kind of country twang to it. He puts a slight inflection in his voice too. His beak. Oh. Kind of using this owl perhaps on the cover. Really great lyrics. Some vivid imagery. Really commanding voice. Very vibrant instrumentation too, up against him. Ooh. Oh, I like this sort of ascending instrumental. The backup vocals. Carrying on that try. We will be gone, but not forever. I love the really slight country twang to this track. Very dense lyricism as well, like lengthy passages. A really tight track. I love this long dark blues, the backup, the really kind of ascending, triumphant sound. has a sense of finality to it, despite being the opener. Or like a last hurrah. Maybe that's the transmission. Oh. You got his voice, you've got a deeper, more baritone voice, and you've got this higher pitch. Sounds like female vocalist to back it all up. Really gives it a full sound. Man, that one, that one has a really great building progression throughout it. The way it kind of takes hold in that second half and continues to elevate. And before you know it, very subtly, it takes over. And you've got this just really loud, I don't want to say abrasive, but kind of uplifting, almost post-rock sort of tone to it, while still sounding very country. Loved it. Let's keep going. Really sets the tone, I feel like. Let's go into I've Been Riding with the Ghost. Stripping it back. Jason's voice. While you've been busy crying about my past mistakes, I've been busy trying to really leans into that accent. Now I made the change. An experimental country musician. I love how humble his voice sounds too. Like it's not necessarily front and center or overdoing things. Letting the instrumental sort of override him. Seems like he's still trying to figure out his life. Oh, those strings were nice. Really vibrant sneaking in between the passage. A lot going on instrumentally, vocally, lyrically. Such a layered LP so far. Ooh, the guitar's singing out with those backup vocalists. I like that one quite a bit. I also find that there's so much going on, so much to pay attention to. Such a great production that this is definitely an album that I think as time goes on with repeated listenings, you will only go to appreciate it more and more. On a first listen, it's really hard to examine every element because it feels so rich and diverse. So I'm going to do the best I can as a first reaction here. But I did like that one. I can't pick it up lyrically necessarily. I don't know the exact message of the track. I'm gathering some sort of struggle with one's sort of direction in life, goal in life, trying to catch up, it would seem, with their destiny. But again, I could be completely wrong. This is just a first listen, of course. Let's go into Just Be Simple. I do love a nice twangy guitar like that. Just sings, it sounds like it's singing from the soul. Has a nice, sad, and a lonely tone to it. Oh, his vocals much more front forward. Oh. It seems like he's sinking into his depression here, and he's losing hope of getting out of it. Oh, this one's pretty. I'm lost. Lyrically, I'm not sure what I'm picking up here. Instrumentally, it's fantastic. It's super low key. It's got a nice, kind of, like I said earlier, humble tone to it. Very depressing tone as well.
Thanks for letting me win.
Oh, I love his tone. I love his timbre in his voice.
Everything you hated me for, I just didn't get bust.
Also, shout out to Jenny Benford, who seems to be the main backup vocalist on here. Really adds a nice sense of contrast.
Just be simple again.
Seems like he wants to.
Just be simple again.
Seems like he wants to just fully sink into his depression. That's what I'm gathering from these lyrics. That kickoff sort of implied that. Rejecting a heaven. Our protagonist, perhaps Jason himself, is sinking into depression, refusing help, doesn't believe in a better life, it would seem. Maybe there's a comfortability to it, kind of thinking of Nirvana's song Dumb, you know, where he says it's easier to be dumb than to be smart and thinking, right? I think that's the concept that this track similarly kind of goes for. Let's go into Almost Was Good Enough. Oh my god, what a kickoff. Not a slow start like that last one. Certainly a very country focused album, but a very vibrantly noisier sort of sense of country. I love the rock influences on it. He's got those winter blues. Lots of negative use of words, kind of representing his negative outlook on life, you know? His baggage, his demons, maybe a sense of imposter syndrome, perhaps. I think it's a sense of self-doubt, a sense of self-hatred. I love the steadiness of the drums on this one. Perhaps the only thing on here that feels confident. Really atmospheric album as well. Like, there's just, I think the guitar work so amplified, really creates its own sense of atmosphere. Very dense in its production. I love that one. Lyrically, speaking on self-doubt, self-hatred, it would seem a very depressing album for Jason here. Let's, again, continue things. Go right into the next track, The Old Black Hen. Ooh, those violins.
Old black hen,
Oh.
is that you again?
Is this Lawrence
Singing
Peters?
bad luck lullaby, bye. You know
This is getting really deep into the country sounds. The violins
when you worked on
and that deep baritone country cowboy tone.
Revelation.
Speaking of religion as well, very kind of traditional, almost Nashville country sound to this, with a much more modern 2000s twist. I love the rattling keys, these backup vocalists.
Over my door and heard the bad luck lullaby.
Much slower pacing of this one, it feels like.
I already knew who the party was for.
Really taking its time.
Bad luck lullaby.
Seems this cowboy, this protagonist, been struck with a curse, perhaps? Who is playing this violin? Maybe it's The Mandolin by Jenny Benford? Really beautiful sound this instrumental passage has. It's like a continually plodding sound. Nice rattly case.
Every day I live.
Jason really taking a back seat on this track. I think only really playing the guitar work.
Sing blues the way I find 'em.
Perhaps the main songwriter, but Lawrence Peters, really great, deep, kind of traditional country tone to his voice. And I love the violin. If you follow this channel, you know. Such a distinct sound. Really has a great sense of atmosphere in it. Old Black Hand, let's give it a like. And let's go on to the next one here. Peoria Lunchbox Blues. Continuing on with this blues trope. Got a very depressing tone. Scout Niblet, the singer on this one here. Really interesting seeing Jason take such a prominent back seat on these two tracks. Talking on themes of abandonment. This one even slower than the last track, much more continually building kind of atmosphere and lyrics. Not sure how I'm feeling about this one. Maybe it's its slow prodding sound that isn't as instantly catching as some of those opening tracks. I feel like Scout, she's a good vocalist, and so is our last singer as well on the last track. What was his name here? Mr. Lawrence Peters. But I want Jason to come back. I feel like he's the driving force so far. I feel like this one's more atmosphere than anything. I'm not drawn into this one as much as I would like to be. And it's certainly my least favorite so far. Don't care for the pacing either. It feels slow, sluggish. Overall, probably a grower more than anything. Let's go into the 7th track here. John Henry, Split My Heart. Another fairly lengthy one at 6 minutes. Oh. Got a real kicking sort of intro. Almost Wall of Sound-esque sort of instrumentals on this thing. With how vivid they are and really kind of in your face. Stripping things back.
Stood on
Oh.
the 66 highway.
There's our man Jason. Missing that voice. Again, a really great sense of Americana in the lyrics, such as the highways, the mountains, the nature-esque tone. I find this to be a lot more engaging than the last track. But lyrically, again, a little bit more vague, while still quite full of imagery. A grower of an album, it would seem. Oh my goodness. That guitar on the left side too is really just kind of spiraling out of control. Seems like there's like a sense of self-sacrifice in Jason's lyrics here. Kind of like putting all his all into his music. Oh, I love that sort of pivot in tempo there. Really like that one. I like the outro. I like the way it sort of kind of escalated towards the end. Sometimes there's like a sense of continual self-doubt, self-hatred, self-sacrifice. Let's go into Hold On Magnolia, the final track here. And in a sense, a title track, given the Magnolia, reference there. Let's see how this one goes. I like that. Again, those twangy guitars. Kind of washed out, a little hazy. This track almost 8 minutes to close it out. This has got a bit of a warmer sound to it. Oh, and his voice. No effects on it, would seem, right now.
Finally gets a hold.
Really sinking into his depression, perhaps. Kind of reaching out to his friend. Attempting not to succumb to what it would seem to be maybe a suicide of some sort. Really like the laid-back nature of this one, despite seeming to be like some sort of suicide letter. I like these really gentle violins in the back. Sounds like a violin. Kind of adds that kind of syrupy string section.
Hold on, Magnolia.
Oh, that release.
I think it's almost time.
Sounds like he's throwing in the towel with that line. Kind of admitting defeat.
I think it's almost time.
Oh. Really great vocalist. I think he sings with a lot of emotion. I like this slow come down. It's such a beautiful, well-paced track. Almost 8 minutes. It feels like it kind of flies by. Seems like a suicide note, though, more than anything. Like a throwing in of the towel. All hope has been lost. Somehow made to sound very gorgeous. Great production. And that does it for the album. That closes out Magnolia Electric Co. by Songs Ohia. Not too sure. I've seen both pronunciations, but I gotta say, this is a solid record. My least favorites, let's just get that right out of the way, would have to be the ones with Scout Niblet and Lawrence Peters. Now, I think Lawrence Peters is a fantastic singer. I think Scout is a fantastic singer. But I don't find them to be as engaging or as interesting to me personally as Jason's voice, because he feels like he sings with just so much emotion and so much depth, especially given that it's his lyrics. I feel like he really is pouring himself into them, especially on Hold On Magnolia and Farewell Transmission, bookending the album beautifully. I've Been Riding with the Ghost is another fantastic one. Almost Was Good Enough was great. Just Be Simple was also easily one of my favorites. I feel like, though, more than anything, this album is one that is a grower because it is careful. It feels meticulous. It feels like it is very well paced. There's never, besides Lunchbox Blues with Scout Niblet, I never felt like a track went on too long or became too dull or, kind of lost my interest. I did find the pacing of it to be a key component of that because every track, despite each one here being quite lengthy, kind of withheld its time throughout. Lyrically, really great Americana sort of tropes, great sense of nature kind of used without. Isolation being a common country theme, as we've seen throughout this month, runs deep into this album. Nothing negative, aside from the ones I already said, to say about Jason's tracks. I think he is, like I said, great singer, great songwriter, great instrumentalist, and I think the production on this album, too, is very rich and varied and has a lot of kind of country tropes while also blending in the kind of a unique, forward-thinking country rock sounds of the 2000s. I feel like this is an album that will grow on me more, and I will come to appreciate it as time goes on, because as of right now, I feel like it's a great record, but I wasn't as blown away as I had initially hoped. But I'm sure that'll change, because this does feel like a record that is, very grand, very large, and throws a lot at you all at once. But also kind of subtle in its presentation. But that does it for today's video. If you liked today's video, please hit like, subscribe, follow along, and we'll listen to some more country albums. We got 2 more to go, and then we're going to start our September month, which I am also quite excited to begin. I'll wait till we get to our last country video before I announce what we're doing for September, in which case, people could throw down some suggestions down then. But for now, let's keep it a secret. All I'll say is September, the genre for that month, starts with an S. So keeps things pretty limited. As always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.